All right, so moving on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on who I believe Tom Aspinall should defend his heavyweight championship against. Now, obviously, last week Dana White has announced that Jon Jones has officially retired from the UFC. He is heading into the retirement, and Jon Jones has officially vacated the heavyweight title with him heading into retirement, which opened the door for Tom Aspinall to become the new undisputed heavyweight champion, since he was the interim heavyweight champion for quite some time now. So Tom Aspinall is now our new reigning defending heavyweight champion in the UFC. Now it's Tom Aspinall's time to prove why he is world championship material, because it wasn't his fault. I mean, he's been on the sideline for the last 11 to 12 months, waiting patiently for the Jon Jones fight. Unfortunately, never got the Jon Jones fight. So now Tom Aspinall wants to be as active as possible. And we're going to see a world title defense by Tom Aspinall by the end of 2025. So I have 3 opponents today that I do believe will be great fits for Tom Aspinall to defend his heavyweight championship against. Starting off with opponent number 1, that would be Ciryl Gane. I think Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall for the heavyweight championship is a great direction for Tom Aspinall to have in his first heavyweight championship title defense. I think that's a big, massive fight. Gane has a lot of UFC experience, being at the heavyweight division for quite some time now. He could give Tom Aspinall a run for his money in his first heavyweight championship title defense. I think that's a fun fight. And yes, I know Gane, his last fight was very controversial against Alex Volk. I think Volk should have won that fight. Alex Volk should have won that fight. It was in a controversial fashion when it went in Gane's favor, but Volk should have won a fight. Now, Gane is the number 1 ranked heavyweight contender right now in the latest UFC rankings. I think this is a fun fight, though. If you love fights that involves a lot of striking, this is your fight. This is fun. I think this could be a really fun fight that the UFC likes, the direction that they'll go in. Tom Aspinall, he's a quick fighter, has great MMA IQ, ability to finish opponents in a blink of an eye. And Gane has great footwork, great striking abilities, and fights well in the southpaw stance. I think this is a fun fight. I think this would be something that a lot of UFC fans might want to see, might not want to see. But we would have to see how fast Tom Aspinall could possibly get Gane out of the octagon, because when you know Francis Ngannou finished off Gane in the past, we know Jon Jones finished off Gane in the first round to win the heavyweight title back in early 2023. So it'll be interesting to see what Tom Aspinall could do against Gane in his first title defense. I think that's a good idea. We could possibly see that next in the UFC at the heavyweight division. Now, opponent number 2 would be Alex Volk. Now, Tom Aspinall and Alex Volk do have some history. They fought each other in early 2022. The fight was pretty quick. It ended in the first round, but it was Tom Aspinall that got the better of Volk that night in the octagon. And Tom won by first round submission. And he had his way in the fight. And at the time, it was a big upset because Tom Aspinall was just getting his feet wet at this heavyweight division. A lot of people were starting to recognize who he was as he was climbing up the heavyweight division. And I believe at the time, Alex Volk was a top 10 ranked heavyweight. So this was a big, massive victory for Tom Aspinall back in the day. But when you look back at that fight, Tom Aspinall did do a good job putting the pressure on Volk, walking him down, landing the strikes, landing the combinations, landing the 2 takedowns, and earning the first round submission victory. So Tom Aspinall right now does have Alex Volk's number, but that was all the way back in early 2022. This is 3 years ago at this point, and everything in the past doesn't matter because both of these respective heavyweights are 2 different fighters at their particular points of their UFC careers. And Tom has won his last 4. He's gotten much better. He's won his last 4 out of 5 fights, or excuse me, Alex Volk has gotten much better. Won the last 4 out of 5 fights, and honestly, he should have won the Gane victory. He should be on a 5-fight winning streak if we're being completely realistic. But it didn't go that way. But I think this will be a realistic rematch that would be really good for the heavyweight division and would be really more competitive the next time around. It wouldn't be a first-round submission victory or first-round stoppage, in my opinion. I think the fight would be more competitive, at least going to 2 to 3 rounds. And I think this would be a good title defense for Tom Aspinall to get his feet wet as the heavyweight champion. So I think that's a good one. Last but not least, Jailton Almeida, Jailton Almeida. These UFC names, guys, it's hard to pronounce them sometimes, but Jailton Almeida. Jailton Almeida versus Tom Aspinall. I think that's a big fight also at the heavyweight division. And Jailton Almeida has been on a huge, impressive UFC winning streak, winning the last 8 out of 9 fights. The only loss that Jailton had in this run was against Curtis Blades, and he lost that fight by knockout. A fight that could have went either way, but Curtis Blades did get the better of Jailton and won that fight by knockout. But Jailton Almeida is a very effective striker, great on the ground, 13 submission victories, and could be a true test for Tom Aspinall on his first title defense. I think that's a fun fight as well. For someone that's been on a very massive, hot winning streak, and Tom Aspinall has been the big dog in the heavyweight division, has made the greatest of all time, John Jones, duck the smoke away from him. I think these 3 fights would be very entertaining for the heavyweight division. We need some new chapters to be written. We finally have a champion that's willing to be active, willing to be out there and defend the heavyweight title. I think this is best for business. But those are the 3 opponents I do believe should be next in line to fight Tom Aspinall for the heavyweight title by the end of 2025.